Well, shmai pawb and croeso y coginio ar y hyd. Hello everyone and welcome to the Cook Along. My name is Richard and heddiw today we're going to be making some wonderful Easter pizzas which are brilliant to have over the Easter weekend, and you can see that they look absolutely fantastic. They look like a little Easter egg, and you can add all of your favourite toppings to this pizza, and I guarantee that these are absolutely blasses iawn, super tasty. So let me just pop that just over there because we can serve that in a couple of moments, but let me show you how easy these little pizzas are to make. And now I'm hoping by now that if I press that button just there, that the ingredients list for our pizzas has just come up on the side, and you can see that we're going to need to make a bread base first of all, and then we can add all the toppings. And when I say we're going to be making a bread mixture first of all, don't be scared, because bread making is one of the best things that you can do, right? And I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a simple sort of pizza stroke bread dough, and I'm going to show you two different ways of kneading. And for the parents that might be watching, I'm going to show you a cleanish sort of way of kneading, and I'm going to show you a messier kind of way of kneading as well, but both are absolutely fantastic. So let's get cracking. The first thing that you're going to need to make your pizza or bread dough, and this mixture today is going to make 4 little Easter egg sort of pizzas, or 2 sort of larger Easter egg pizzas, but I like having me-sized pizzas. You're going to need 200 grams of flour. Now then, when it comes, I'm just going to pop that just into there, but when it comes to flour, there's lots and lots of different types of flour that you can actually buy in the supermarkets. When we're making bread, okay, I would strongly suggest that you use the strong bread flour, because it has got what we call a higher gluten content that makes your bread nice and stretchy, and that's particularly important if you're making bread rolls or maybe some hot cross buns that you want to rise really nicely. With pizza making, ideally you'd be using strong bread flour, but if you haven't got that, then plain flour will work just as well, right? However, it might not give you as quite a stretch, but you don't want it to rise too much anyway. So plain flour for pizza making only would be okay as well. So the next thing that we've got is we have got our yeast, right? And there's lots and lots of different types of yeast that you can purchase. If you want this to be nice and quick, I would suggest that you're choosing a fast action or easy based sort of yeast, and you can either buy it in a pot just like that, or you can buy it in individual packets. So all I'm going to do is add 1 teaspoon, which is equivalent to what is in my packet, and if I hold that up to the screen, I don't know whether you can see it just there, but it just looks like sand, right? I promise I haven't been down Barry Island Beach, okay, but okay, it's a living thing just like us. So pop that just in there, and then I've got my mixed herbs, because I'm not going to add any extra salt to our dough, so we want to make sure that it's got lots of flavour, and I'm going to pop in approximately a teaspoon of our mixed herbs. I'm hoping that at the top just there you're able to see our yeast just there and our mixed herbs just there. Now that yeast, as I said, is a living thing, and as soon as we add water to it, it's had a drink, it'll have food from the flour, and it'll start to expand and grow it. And it's the gas that it produces, the carbon dioxide, that makes it sort of rise. Okay, so that's our dry ingredients just there for now. The other thing that you need to get ready is your water. Okay, and if I was making proper sort of bread, I might choose to use lukewarm water. However, right, your lukewarm water might be slightly different to other people's, so I just take just cold water straight from the tap. Because we don't want this to rise too much, we don't necessarily have to make sure it is lukewarm, right? If you were making bread, then you might be more concerned about it, but for our pizzas it'll be fine with just normal sort of room temperature tap water. So I'm going to give that just a little mix, just as so, and we're going to add the oil to our bag afterwards, and all I'm going to do is just make a well just in the centre, just like that. Now I've got way too much water. I'm just checking my ingredients list that's on the side because I'm seeing it upside down and back to front. We need 200 mils, as it says just there, 200 mils of water. I've got 200 mils just there, and the rule that we're going to follow is that you can always add more, but you can't take any out, right? So I'm going to add just 3 little drops to start with, give it a little mix, and then we can see where we're up to, okay? So un, dau, a tri, and then I'm going to give it a little mix, right? And mix in Welsh, it's a fantastic word. It's cymysgu. So I cymysgu, cymysgu, cymysgu. Cymysgu, cymysgu, cymysgu. And you can see that it's sucked up all that water. So now I can add a little bit more. So un, dau, a tri. And then I cymysgu, cymysgu, cymysgu. Cymysgu, cymysgu, cymysgu. And you can see that we've started to make a really nice dough. Now lots of people will stop there and start kneading, but it's still a little bit floury, right? What you want your dough to be is a little bit wet, right? Not sopping that it's all over your hands, right? But you need it to be a little bit wet, slightly sticky, because that will help with the kneading process afterwards. So I'm just going to add just 1 drop this time, right? And see where we get to, right? And the other way that I like to do it, in actual fact, I should have added 2 drops, right? So I'm going to add a little bit more, and then all that we're looking for is for our dough, right, to make a nice ball of dough. And I should, if I pop that on the side, I'm going to use my cahyrau now, I'm going to use my muscles, and I'm just going to mix that round until we get a nice clean bowl, I'm hoping, and my dough picks up just like that, right? And you can see that my bowl is nearly sort of clean. So that's our bread dough made. So I'm going to pop that just there, and then when it comes to your kneading, you have got 2 options. Now I think the recipe card that's on the Facebook page will tell you to knead in the bag. So I'm going to show you how to knead in the bag, but if you want to knead on the table, I'll also show you that as well. So when you're kneading in the bag, this is great because you don't get your hands dirty and you can really work it. But what we're going to do first of all is I'm just going to add 2 and 1 for luck. I've just got some bog standard sort of vegetable oil just there, right? And in my bag, all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick that up and just rub that in like that. So it doesn't stick to my bag, but it's makes it a lot easier to knead, right? So I can then pour all of my dough straight into there, or if there's 2 of you making pizzas and if you made 1 batch, you can cut that in half and put it into 2 bags, right? But in actual fact, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take half to put in my bag, so half goes in my bag, and I'll do the other half on the table to show you. So that one for later. So if you're kneading the bag, pop it into the bag, and then you shigla, 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 and shigla is Welsh for shake, right? So shigla, 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 ar y bwrdd. Then you put it flat down like that, and basically what you're going to do is a combination of presses and squeezes. And when you're doing that, what you're trying to do is start to stretch that gluten, so that when that yeast produces the carbon dioxide, once it starts breathing, just like us, because it's a living thing just like us, okay, breathes out that carbon dioxide, it helps our bread to sort of rise, okay? But, so let's have a go, ready? So all I'm going to do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now dig, it becomes nice and flat. You can't squeeze it now because it'll all come out of the top. So you just pick it up and you shigla, 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 and it goes to the bottom. Put it flat down, and now you can do your squeezing. You ready? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now dig, you pick him up, you shigla, 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 and above, and you do your presses. And you need to do, right, you're going to be kneading for approximately 3 to 4 minutes. In other words, you need to do 100 presses, okay, in sets of 10, and 100 squeezes in sets of 10 as well, with that little shake in between. Okay, so that's how you do it in the bag, and I'm going to knead that afterwards, otherwise we'll be here until after Easter making those, right? So if you're going to knead on the table, as I said, parents, if you're watching with the children, this is going to be a little bit more messy, right? So this is more for the older children in your family and for adults. And all you're going to do, a little bit of flour on your table, a little bit of flour on your doila, and then you're just going to bring your dough onto the table like that. You can pop that just underneath. Now, before we get our hands stuck in, all I'm going to do is just use my fingertips, and I'm just going to roll it in the flour just like that, and then we can start kneading. And when we're kneading, we use our fingertips to fold, and then we use our knuckles to push away, and then we turn. So fold, or fold, push and turn. Okay, so fold, push and turn. Fold, push and turn. Plygu, gwthio, troi in Welsh. Plygu, gwthio, troi. Now if it starts sticking to my hands, I add a bit of flour to my hands. If it starts sticking to the table, add a little bit more flour, but try not to add too much flour, because A, we're not making a snowman, and B, we don't want to add too much because it becomes dry, right? So fold, push and turn. Fold, push and turn. Fold, push and turn. Plygu, gwthio, troi. Plygu, gwthio, troi. And once again, you are going to be kneading for between 3 and 4 minutes, right? And I promise by the end you sort of get into a little rhythm, right? When I'm kneading, when I'm teaching people to knead, first of all, we always do the fold, push and turn, but then, right, you get into your own rhythm. So what I tend to do, I use one hand to knead just like that, and I'm pushing it round with the other one, right? Again, what we're trying to do is stretch that gluten so the carbon dioxide can help our bread to rise, right? What doesn't work when you're kneading, right, is to just tickle it just like that and not move it. And equally, punching it doesn't work either. It has to move on the table. I don't mind how it moves on the table, but it has to move on the table. So again, I'm not going to show you how to knead that for too long, but I'm going to leave those over there, and I'm going to be having those afterwards, because I'm actually having pizzas later today. So I've got some that I made earlier, and this was kneading it in the bag, and you can see this was the same quantity, but I've let it rise for a little bit, or prove, and you can see that it's doubled in size. You don't have to leave it to double in size, because you're going to leave it to rest afterwards. But this is where it does become a little bit messy, because that will now make 2 little Easter pizzas. So a little bit of flour on your table now, right? And then you can turn that upside down and watch. It'll slowly come out of the bag like that. Now then, if you just want to make 1 pizza today, you can cut that in half, put it back in the bag, tie it up, pop it in the fridge, pop it in the freezer until you're ready to use it again. Bread dough is fantastic, particularly when we're making and turning it into pizzas. So as I said, this will make easily 2 little pizzas, so I'm going to leave that one over there as well, because I can prepare that one afterwards. So let me show you how to do this. So once again, now that it's out of the bag, I just need to coat it in that flour, and I can just do a little bit of mini kneading and bring it all together just as so. Now then, you've got 2 options. You can either press it and turn it into an oval shape. However, I am going to roll it out, and this is where we find out whether you've done enough kneading, because what it should do, it should stretch out like that, and if you've done enough kneading, it should shrink back in, right? Because that means that you've developed that gluten. If it stays out like that, it means that you need a bit more kneading, right? So watch. I'm going to roll in one direction, and you can see it shrinking back in, and then I'm going to turn him round just like that. So roll in one direction and then turn him round, and we're rolling in one direction basically because if you roll in every possible direction, you'll end up with a very strange shaped sort of Easter egg pizza, right? So roll in one direction just as so, and then turn your dough. Roll in one direction and turn your dough. And you can see that I'm starting to make that oval shape, right? So roll in one direction. If the dough is sticking to your pizza, just add a little bit more flour onto the dough, just like that. So roll in one direction. So I'm just stretching him out now, and you can see I'm turning him around, that just to make sure that he's not sticking to the table, because there's nothing worse than your beautiful oval Easter egg sort of shape. Looks fantastic on the table, but you can't take it off, right? So I've got my little shape just there. So I'm going to pop that straight onto a little baking tray. If you've got a pizza tray, that's even better, because it'll cook the base a little bit quicker, but a normal baking tray would be just as fine. And all you're going to do is you're going to give it a floury bottom. Okay, so you want plenty of flour, just like that. As I said, not enough just to make a snowman, just enough to stop it from sticking. And you can pop your pizza straight onto there, and we'll just push that into an oval shape and just make sure that it's not sticking. So that's that bit just there. So that's our Easter egg sort of shape. And then we're going to add the little toppings. So let me grab my toppings from over here. And the first thing we've got, if you can see on the pizza that I made earlier, we obviously need our tomato base, right? So for your tomato base, you've got a couple of options. You can either use what I prefer to use, which is tomato passata, and that's just sieved tomatoes, comes in little cartons like that, really good as a pasta sauce, but fantastic on top of a pizza, right? Or if you haven't got that, you could use some tomato puree, but with your tomato puree, I would add 2 spoonfuls in dye, good squeezes, and then I would add 2 spoonfuls of water just to slacken it down as well. And you can see that I put some herbs in there as well. So just some mixed herbs, so we're not requiring any extra salt. So I'm just going to pop that just into there, give that a little mix, just to so, and I've got a really nice, quick and easy pizza sauce. So this is then going to go on there just as so. So I've got in, die, and tree, and in for luck, right? So we've got that just there. Then I'm going to spread it around. Now what you want with a pizza, okay, is not to try and get it on the tray, because it'll all make the tray really sticky, but you also want to try and leave a little crust around the edges, right? That would what would be traditional. Couldn't get my words out then. However, if you don't like crusts, just push it right to the edge, but try not to get it onto the tray, right? Because that will mean that you'll have a sticky moment once it's cooked. So that's already just there. Then I have got my cheese. Now you could add mozzarella, you could add grated mozzarella. However, I'm just using some reduced fat mature cheddar cheese. That means that I can use less of it to get that cheesy flavour. So I'm just going to give that just a little sort of round and round and round, turn and turn and turn, until I've got all 25 grams of cheese out, just like that. I'm not going to use all of that. You just need a simple layer. Because this isn't sort of mozzarella, it will sort of melt down quite nicely, right? And if you add too much, it'll become like a little ice rink for your vegetables. They'll all slide off, right? So you don't need a huge amount, just enough just to cover it and to add a little bit of flavour. Then we can start to add our Easter egg sort of decoration, and you can see on here that I've added little sort of lines of my favourite toppings, right? And I've gone for a veggie one today. You could use whatever you wanted. If you like ham and pineapple, you could put lines of ham and pineapple. Personally, I don't think pineapple belongs on a pizza, but I think that's an argument for another day, right? So you could add pepperoni and some vegetables. Try and add at least 2 varieties of vegetables, because they're going to help towards our 5 a day, right? So I'm going to start off with my tomatoes right in the centre. So I just got some sliced cherry tomatoes just there. And then I'm going to try and mirror either side, right? So I've got some mushrooms just there, and I'm going to put my mushrooms on that side just as so as well. I've then got some pepper. So I've got a line of my green pepper just there. In actual fact, I'll pop that one just over there, that one just there, and that one like that. And I got some orange pepper just here. I'm going to pop those bits just like that. I've got some red pepper for the bottom, and let's get that one on just there. This is where you can talk among yourselves, because I'm concentrating now, as you can tell. I'm stopping talking. That one goes just like that. So we've got that little line. I've got some black olives just here. I love olives on a pizza. So I'm just going to pop those on just like that. These have been pitted, but they're not in half. So I'm just tearing them apart just like that. And it's all about making a lovely little pattern. And I promise you, these will go down a storm with the rest of the family, right? And you can make your own sort of designs, and you can have whatever you want on your pizza, right? And it's guaranteed that it's going to be really, really tasty. So pop those on just as so. My last one's just over here. So I've got some corn mellis or sweet corn just there. That goes on just like that. And you can see that I have got my perfect Easter egg pizza. Now then, before that goes into the oven, now is the stage for you to put your oven on. You want it at 190 degrees centigrade if you're using a fan oven, 200 degrees centigrade in a conventional oven, gas mark 5/6 if you're using a gas oven, right? Allow your oven to heat up, and whilst that's heating up, this is going to prove, and it'll start to rise a little bit, and then it takes between 8 and 10 minutes to bake off in that hot 200 degrees oven. And I promise you, these are absolutely blassis yam. So let me just pop that over to the side, and I'm going to pop that just there. Now is the chance for you to ask any questions, because I'm just going to clear my area up just here. So if you have got any questions about making these Easter pizzas, if you pop them into the comment section, then either myself or one of the Facebook team will be able to answer those questions for you. So let me just wipe that over just as so, and then I can show you how we're going to serve. So let me just go and quickly wash my hands, and then I'll be back in the room. So rinse that out. I'm going to re-wipe the table, because otherwise I'm going to have flour marks all over the place. So let me pop that just over just as so. There we go. And I'm hoping that, yes, I've got my spinach ready just there. Let me grab my little pizza sort of board out. So once your pizza has been cooked and your oven has heated up, as I said, 8 to 10 minutes at 200 degrees centigrade, leave it until it's all nice and golden brown, and your pizza should end up looking just like that. And I promise you, it smells absolutely fantastic. So all that I'm going to do with this, I've got my little pizza paddle just here. I can show off, because I can just lift my pizza straight off my tray just as so, and I can pop that on just like that. I can pop that just over here, and that just there. And then I'm going to serve it today with a little bit of green salad. In other words, a little bit of spinach, or in Welsh, spinach has got a fantastic sort of name. It's spigoglis, right? And I know loads of people that won't eat spinach, but they will quite happily eat some spigoglis. And just over here, I have got a little bit of a lemon sort of dressing. So I'm going to grab my little bit just there, a little bit of lemon dressing just on top, and you have got a really, really delicious Easter egg pizza served with a crisp side salad just there. And that, I promise you, is absolutely, in the words of my West Walian friend, absolutely cowing lush. Well, I hope that you have enjoyed cooking along with me today. It's been wonderful showing you how to make these little Easter egg pizzas just here. Don't forget that all the recipe cards are available on the Facebook page as well as our website. All that leaves for me to say is diolch yn fawr. Thank you for watching today. I hope that you have enjoyed and I've inspired you to make some Easter pizzas. Enjoy the rest of your day and I will see you very, very soon. Cooking your happies.